Chris Level here with another edition of Pirate Talk with the head coach of the Lubbock-Cooper Pirates, Chip Darden. I want to thank you to Texas Tech Federal Credit Union for sponsoring these podcasts. They are the home of the HERO program, a $1,000 closing credit on home loans for educators, military, and first responders. So check those folks out. We certainly appreciate the folks at Texas Tech Federal Credit Union for sponsoring these. And getting to the end here.
I hope not. I hope not
Well,
too close to the
a
end.
regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, a regular season, I should say, and it kind of starts to take on a different tone. We'll get to what's at stake on Friday night here in a bit, but let's go back to last Friday night, Coach, and big win over Monterey. These in-town kind of rivalries, these kids, there's a lot of familiarity there, and wasn't easy, but a 31-14 win, and it felt kind of like a comfortable win that was hard to achieve, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's probably the best way to put it. I don't know that anybody was ever just comfortable that it was over until, the last possession of the game. But we did some things really well the other night, but there's also some stuff we got to work on. We had some turnovers. Some things that some penalties that kept drives alive, and things that we didn't think we played our best game of the year. And so to me, when you can have a game like that you do some stuff well, you got some stuff you can build off of, but then you also got some tape that, hey, we better get better in some of these spots if we want to, make a run in the playoffs. I think it's good when you've got a game, when you can do that off of a win. It's easy to do that off of a loss. So, but we did a lot of good things too, and we've said it multiple times, but winning is not easy at this level, and we're gonna celebrate it every time. So I was proud of our guys, and clinching a playoff spot and all that stuff, which you might want to talk about later. But it's a neat deal. And off the top of my head, I don't have how many years in a row that is, but 8 or 9 maybe.
Been a bit.
So pretty fun deal.
Yeah, and teachable moments and wins is undefeated as a coach. That's like you can't draw it up any better.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, if you can have teachable moments and still win games, man, sign up for that. But yeah, all equal to a 31-14 win over the Plainsmen. You guys improved to 7-1 overall, 4-0 in the district. And so let's talk about how you kind of got to that point, though. You ran the ball extremely well, about 230 yards rushing. And there's some plays in this thing, or some drives in this thing I want to make sure I bring up. But I don't think there's any moment that was more fun to watch, probably for you too, than Ethan Elkins' 17-yard touchdown run. That's an emotional one. That's a meaningful one at the time in the game.
Yes.
I mean, there was all kinds of dynamics there, but I mean, he was all smiles.
Yeah, that one. After the game, we give a game ball that's doesn't have anything to do with our awards. After when we do the awards weekly, it's just game ball in the moment, kind of the emotional type, like who gets the ball. And I told the guys, I said, been waiting to give this game ball out for about a year and a half. It's been a long time coming for him to, from where he was that April to now, it's just a pretty awesome deal. And the kids love him, and he not only what he's gone through to get to this point, but just the type of person he is, I think just makes it even more special. And you're right, it was a big play in the game. You're right there before half, we took a knee, and kind of the thought was we get the ball after half, and if we could have a grinded out type drive, that would be awesome. And it was 6-minute drive that ends up with a touchdown. I thought was just a huge point of the game to go along with a great story.
Yeah, and I mean, it was, talking to him after the game, it was just, all smiles. And it's so happy to kind of see his journey, because I'm sure there was a point where he thought, I may never get to do this, and then to do it in a meaningful situation in a district game and all that.
And I think he kind of had those thoughts, we all did all along, that never played. But then once he kind of gets cleared to play, it's also everybody getting comfortable with him playing, himself, his family, us as coaches, kind of going, all right, he's really going to do it. And I think every week you see his confidence level just going up and up, and we're starting to see that elk that we saw his sophomore year.
And that one drive, there's been moments where he doesn't look as fast, but in that one drive, for whatever reason, he just looks so much faster and more sure of himself. It's interesting to see. There's another play in the first half. This puts you up 10-0. It was the first touchdown scored in this game. It is a play that I thought was very heady on Tyler Sproul's part. It feels like he's got offsides, which he did, a free play. A lot of players kind of stop playing, and it looks like slow motion. Yet he takes the shot, and Jaden Kennard, who a guy that transferred here from Aledo this past spring, and he's somebody you've been trying to get more involved, and he's one of your faster guys, and makes a great catch.
Yep, and that one of those. This goes back to Sonny Gonzalez, our old O-line coach. When we kind of started installing this, where we get him to jump off sides and take the free play, we were 0 for 9 million on that, and we kept telling him we're gonna score on that at some point. It's gonna be all right, and I think it might have been the first touchdown that we've gotten off of it. But no, well executed, and that's some of the teams that are playing us in man to man, that over the shoulder fade is something that we've got to be able to execute. And so it was nice to see Jaden do a really good job. It was a really good catch and a really good throw.
It was a good throw.
I think either way, one of them just a little bit off, and that's not completed. And then, like you said, without getting the call, kind of changes that drive.
Yeah, and two, it's smart just to know, okay, we're taking a shot, and you can get a PI off of it. You're not real sure, but yeah, that's a good heady play right there. The other guy I want to mention, he got your defensive MVP award for the week, but I thought Carson Bradshaw maybe gets more out of his ability and his size and all that than anybody on your team. That's me talking. That's my opinion, because he had a couple of tackles on an elite level high school running back.
Yes.
And they were shots, and he gave you all he had a couple of times, and they were big at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, so talk to me. We probably haven't talked enough about him as a football player.
Yeah, and your spot, Carson. He's trying to say that you're shorter than everybody
No,
else.
I'm just saying.
Me and Carson joke about that all the time. No,
I mean,
it's good. But you're right. Like, that's the best way to describe it. I think if we line up and run 40s, he's upper half, but he's not going to be our fastest kid. He's, you go through all the measurements that you might get, but man, he's a football playing dude. And I think he's got the ability to move all over the field. It's been neat to see him. I want to say when he got here as a 7th grader, it was his first year playing football. Didn't know anything about it and didn't know much. And so just to watch him progress each year has been really fun to watch. And he's just one of our best football players. But, Hibbler, the running back, I'm not going to lie in saying that we lost a little sleep over him making guys miss. He did it to us a lot last year, made a lot of our guys miss in the open field. And I thought Carson, but then our defense in general, tackled really well the other night. And we limited – they got us on some, but we limited the big plays, and a lot of it was due to our tackling.
Yeah, red-haired Carson Bradshaw, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that red-haired tackles hard, man.
Sure
does. And it's just fun to watch a kid like empty his bucket. He's giving you all he's got.
Yep.
You mentioned tackles. Typo Lead had 8, Cutter with 8, Jason Ford with 7, Carson we just talked about with 6, and Chris Carrillo with 5. So I think that's fun. This was the 25th, and you were asked about this after the game, but the 25th straight district win. Hadn't mattered to the district, but that says a lot about culture and program, and the faces changed. Some of the coaches have changed and all that, but just the expectations and all of the mission stays the same.
Yeah, it does, and it's I don't know. The phrase is easy to say when you're winning, but it isn't all about it. It isn't all about the winning. It's about how you do things on a day-to-day basis, and I think it translates to winning. And so, and we hope we do, but hope it does. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been and we're gonna try to keep this ride rolling. Aleto's they're like at 100 and something, so maybe we can catch up with them. But it says just a ton about our kids. We got really good kids that step into it. Our JV. One of the themes that we have with our JV guys, first of the year, is when we get to our last practice, our last week, you got to be better than the varsity. You've got to be to where you're stepping in. And I think right now our JV and freshman A teams are both undefeated, both 8-0. They're playing for a district championship as well. And I just think you try to make that program wide. We got some of our middle schools playing for city championship, and you hope that carries on. Hope guys learn how to win and know what it takes to win. And I think that's what we got going right now. But it's just a testament to the kids. They've been great. They're kind of letting us come along for the ride is what they're doing.
And then offensive MVP Noah Williams, another young man that he gives you all he's got.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he had some big catches in that game.
Yeah, we wanted to throw it early. That was one of the things that was a focus for us, was to try to maybe loosen that box after Abilene High kind of got those safeties in it, and thought we did that a couple throws there. They were throws that, I mean, there's not much room. You go look at the film. There's not much room put right there. And then Noah just kind of fought for the ball on 2 really big catches. So he's doing a whole lot well. I mean, that sucker is it's kind of, to me, kind of like Carson that we're talking about. He's just a football player and doesn't care what you ask him to do. He's going to do whatever he can to help the team, and he's had a really good senior year.
Always smiling every time I see him, and that goes a long way with me. And then Cole Stanzioni, special teams MVP. Want to make sure we mention that. He had some special teams tackles that I know were big.
Yep, yeah. They were, and he is full speed. And the thing what I told the guys was interesting was Cole Stanzioni gets an award, special teams MVP. Jaden Kennard gets the game changer award. Both of them were also our scout MVPs during the week. So on our Tuesday when we do varsity on varsity, they did a really good job. They're full speed. They're giving a good look, and translates on Friday night. So that's always nice when you can do that, when there's a good learning experience for everybody going, look, if it happens in practice, a lot of times it'll translate into a game.
So this will be the regular season finale at home because you guys just won. You have guaranteed yourselves a home playoff game. So this won't be the last home game. This will be the last regular season home playoff game. I did want to tell everybody, if you're going to the game, get your tickets early, so buy them online and all those things, and they're going to swipe your card. So make sure you don't have to find that little QR code and all those things. They've got these card swipers that'll speed up the process. So just want to make sure that we pass that along, as I've got my fancy note right here to remind me to pass that along. So try to speed everybody up and get everybody into the game quicker. With that, with regular season finale, that comes, which was always a bit awkward, it's senior night. Mm-hmm. A lot of emotions, and it's not just for your team, but you got band and cheerleaders and all these things. Luckily, though, there is another home game, so it's not, you don't have to say, okay, we're saying bye to the stadium and all that stuff. But it's a bit tricky. It's another potential distraction.
Sure.
Take me through that dynamic.
God, add it to the list of distractions.
I know.
Always distractions.
That's all football coaches try to avoid, and coaches in general eliminate distractions. And here's one that just gets dropped in your lap, but it's for the right reasons.
Yeah, it's fun, and most of them are. Most of them are good and about the experience. And senior night, one of the things that last year was a big emphasis for us. There's a lot of times when we want them to enjoy senior night. We want them to have a good experience with it, remember it. But one of the things that we talk about a lot is you remember it when you play well. You don't want to remember it and walk off that field and go, we just got our tails beat, and we didn't win the district and things like that. And so I think our approach has been good. I think our kids' approach is we want to play our best game on senior night. We want to play well, and that's last year we were real fortunate that happened. We played one of our best games of the year, and so then you've got that great experience of senior night and kind of how you remember it. So that's what we'll hope to do. But we'll honor those seniors. Anybody that wants to be there, I think a big crowd would be awesome for these seniors. They've done a whole lot for the program. We'll get started at 6:20. Football goes first, and then kind of goes from there. And at 6:20 they'll get honored, and a group that's won a lot of football games. They've impacted our school in a positive way, and just a great group. Every senior group it's hard to say goodbye to, and we hope we don't have to say goodbye for a while. But kind of one thing that we say is we get them right now for this senior night. You get them all in a group, and it's not you get to have some of these conversations without just losing, if that makes sense. A lot of times, if you don't do this senior night stuff, then the last time you're going to talk to them is after you lose your last game, and everybody's crying and you're trying to tell them. So we're able to tell them some of the things that we appreciate from them, and it's positive, and we get to go play, and we know we got more games ahead of us too.
41 of them. 41 seniors. That's a big number.
I would have to ask Coach Cat, but I believe that's our biggest that we've ever had. The last couple of years have been mid-30s, 35-ish. 41's a lot, and that's
more than some teams you've played so far this season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's more than Monterey had suited up the other night. But the 41 of them, and probably when they came in as freshmen, there were probably 70 or so of them, and that's part of it. People move or find something else, but those 41, man, they've won a lot of football games, and I think they're the big reason that we're 7-1 right now. It's because of those guys.
Yeah, and I mentioned some of these guys, but the captains, Cutter Douglas, Landon Doris, Ty Polieve, and Coulter Lynch. those are rope holders. Those are some of your MVPs each week. These are really good football players and good people.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about those guys is they just is the I don't know if you can explain what the phrase means. It might be different for different people, but they're just football players. They're not necessarily the most vocal. They're not maybe trying to get all this attention on social media. They just show up and play, and they play hard. Those guys right there, like if you're looking for what our culture looks like, playing hard, playing physical, that's them. That's what they do. Now, they might wear too much eye black for my liking, but that's okay. If they're playing hard, we'll let them wear it.
And Landon's got some of those curls in his hair that he's
does.
proud of. Yeah, so shout out to you Mr. Doris. But no, it's been fun to watch this group, and there's so many names on this list I'm looking at now. We don't have time to go through all of them. We'd be here all afternoon, but it's just a great, very productive group.
Yep.
And I know that their story hasn't yet to be written, but they'll leave quite a legacy no matter what happens.
Yeah, they will. They will. We'll remember them forever.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we move on to what's at stake on Friday night, you will play Amarillo Tascosa. I did not know this until doing some research this week. This is the first ever matchup between these two schools. Yep. I did not realize that, and it couldn't be any bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's quite a bit on the line. This is going to be for the district championship and the 1 seed in the district, because no matter what happens the week after, you would own the tiebreaker. Your familiarity with Amarillo Tascosa and Coach Ken Plunk, who's been there for 14 years, is what?
Well, I've looked up to that program and kind of seen what they've done, and they do some unique things. They do some stuff that's different than other programs, but they win. And I mean, you know that even when we were 3A and they were maybe at the time a 6A or 5A is what it was. There wasn't a 6A yet, but they're winning, and they played in a state semifinal game at the highest level against Longview. I mean, they've played some big boy football. I feel like I use that phrase every week, but they've played a lot of that. And Coach Plunk, to me, you just love that he sticks with a system. And everybody knows I could call anybody that's been playing them, and they're going to tell you exactly what they're going to do, exactly how they're going to line up.
And yet it's still hard to stop.
It's hard to stop, and they execute it really well. So it's just a great program. And to me, like I said, we look up to programs like that. We kind of look at different programs who we want to be like, and that's one of them. And so I know it's going to be a challenge all levels. Our sub-varsities as well. It's going to be a challenge, but it's what we want. We want to be in these games. We want to be in meaningful games here. And at the last week of October, there's nothing else you could ask for. Get in this position and see what happens.
This is a very athletic varsity Tascosa team. They've got some guys that are committed to go play in college already, and defensively, and then offensively, it's just they've got multiple running backs. They've got a really good receiver and a quarterback that does his thing. But we may only be there an hour and a half Friday night, because this will be a lot of running the football.
It's a low possession game.
Low, limited possession game. And so with that, possessions are limited. And so it'll be meaningful from the time that the game starts, and every time you have the ball, and then probably electing to go for it or play field position, and all that stuff factors in when you're only going to get the ball so many times.
Yeah, it does. And I think it's kind of similar to Abilene High Week, that you've got to take advantage of every opportunity you've got. You've got to be a low mistake game. We talk about a whole lot that if we have low turnovers, low penalties, we're going to have a chance. You've got to do that, because you can't give them an extra possession. You can't do things that give them extra field position. And I know they're saying the same exact stuff, but that's just kind of the type of game it'll be. And I think we're built for those games, and it's something we talk about a lot. We'll win any way we can. If we need to score 60 and win it 60-58, we'll do it. If we need to win 11-8, like we showed a few weeks ago, let's win it 11-8. So I think our guys are built for any style of game, and we'll kind of see what happens. But their offense, running the triple option stuff, there's a lot of teams that run the triple option it's kind of like when Mike Leach came into Tech. It was gimmick's not the right word, but it's just different, and they did it to give an advantage.
It's an outlier.
Correct,
yeah.
And nobody knew how to game plan for it. You didn't know what coverage to run, and there's a lot of teams that do that with the triple option. They do it to gain a little bit of an advantage like that. Tascosa's a little different. I think they could run a lot of different schemes and be very successful at it. Like you mentioned, that some of their skill guys that they've got are really good. So that just makes it a little bit tougher. That yes, it's a different scheme, but then it's also some dudes back there. So that makes it a challenge. But our guys are up for it. I think our defense had a really good week.
You have to be disciplined when you go. And I thought it was interesting because you scrimmage Midland High back in August. I don't know if there was reasons behind that, but maybe there was. But they run something similar, and it allows you to kind of start prepping for that and see it and game action against somebody that knows what they're doing too.
Yeah, that was definitely a reasoning in scheduling Midland High. We originally had them as our Game 5 opponent regular season,
okay.
and then we got in a 7-team district, and so we lose that 5th non-district game. So we ended up moving some stuff around, got them. But yeah, it was important. And scrimmages are different. We don't prepare for a scrimmage. We don't, like Monday, we don't start working on Midland High. Thursday, we might just say, here's what you're going to see. So it was kind of we're going to line up, see kind of how our kids handle it against Midland. We kind of told them, hey, you got the dive, you got the pitch, you got the quarterback. Thought we handled it pretty well. I mean, there's times they got after us, but now with us prepping, kind of being able to see some things our kids maybe can handle, I think the game plan is pretty good and what we're going to do. And but when some scheduling stuff just happens, but some of it, like this one, was definitely we thought about it and made sure that we wanted an option team,
which is a compliment to Tascosa, really.
Yeah.
I think, and understand. I mean, they were picked by everybody to win this district. I mean, we've all seen that and all that, and there's some expectations there. But you guys have had a really good season too. So explain to the viewer here or the listener, whichever it may be. If you win this game, kind of what, and you lose this game, kind of what, as far as like how the playoffs would work.
Okay.
Because I think people are kind of curious. Okay, well, if we get it done, okay, now what? And if it doesn't go well, now what? I mean, explain, because you guys already kind of know that scenario
a little bit. And we'll have one more, and that last game is always important. Whether if we win it. If we win Friday, we're the 1 seed, but we're gonna go into playoffs.
You want to try to win it out,
yeah,
right?
No doubt. And we don't. I mean, either way, no matter how it happens, that Caprock game will be big, and they'll be playing for a playoff spot. So, be a big game. But if we win, basically first round, we go to El Paso is who we match up against. We're fortunate enough to get them at home.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't have to go to El Paso. They have to come here.
They've got to come here. It's kind of a mess in that district. I don't know about a mess, but just it could go a lot of ways the last 2 weeks. So we're not sure yet who that'll be. And then if fortunate enough to get past that, then you go east in DFW stuff. So we're not obviously looking that far ahead. There's a planning part. We actually, it was a few years ago in the playoffs, and it was the COVID year. So we're playing Christmas week. We played on Christmas Eve, played a 3rd round playoff game, but we were all these playoff stuff. You have to plan ahead because you got to get venues set up. You've got to get stuff. So, when we get to a certain playoff game, we're calling the other 2 opponents and saying, all right, if we win, where do we want it? That's all usually set up a week in advance. And it was funny that year, especially just because we wanted Christmas plans to be set. We were posting a little bit early saying, hey, if we happen to win this game, here's when it looks like we'll play, just so people can make travel plans. And I got a few people kind of commenting, going, man, y'all are pretty confident about this week. And I was laughing, going, no, doesn't have anything to do with that. I'm
confident on Christmas morning.
Correct.
And I want to make sure that Christmas
don't want to mess with that family stuff. But anyway, so there's a little planning in the playoffs that goes into it, but
just part of it.
Part of it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it should be fun. I mean, it should be just a really good high school football game, and with something on the line. And as luck would have it, the weather kind of going to cooperate a little bit. Like mid-50s and maybe a little precip in and around, but both teams run it, so that's kind of fits into that style. So.
We need a big crowd. I've mentioned this a few times before, and it is different. We've never played Tascosa, so I think maybe just common people around Lubbock that wouldn't really know, don't understand how good of a program it is. They got Division I. They got top 20 player in Texas on their D-line, and he plays some tight end for them as well. And just a huge game, and I hope we got a big crowd. And I think we will. Our fans have been money all year. So we're going to try to get a lot of students out there, and it'll be a fun night. And it won't be long. You might be about 35 plays per team. Be out of there in about an hour and a half.
Which we're kind of embellishing there, but it really will be a game where the clock is going to run a lot, just because this is what both of these teams do. Yeah. So it should be fun. And this is what you couldn't ask for anything more in your last regular season home game. In that, man, something on the line against the opponent that it's kind of everything's kind of been working toward, and it's just that's what these kids do this for.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the whole point of all the summer stuff and the weight room stuff and all that. Here it goes. I mean, that's the beauty of sports right there.
Yep.
So, all right, my favorite portion of the program here.
Thought we'd cut this out.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, I got these from your sweet sister.
For sure, thought we'd cut those out.
Favorite meal your mom makes?
Oh man, she makes a lot of good meals.
Mom's always
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably fried chicken and mashed potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
If I had to pick, like she's
Undefeated there, unless it's
pretty good.
Chicken fried steak, maybe, depending on if your mom makes that or not. But
she makes a stew that's really good. I think she might be upset if I chose that, because I don't think it's very hard. I think it's pretty basic for her, but man, I love it.
But fried chicken and mashed potatoes, man, that's well said. Okay, now we got a lot of Halloween stuff. Well, actually, one more food thing: beans in your chili, yes or no?
It's up to you. That I'm not as a hard stance on that, but yeah, it's personal preference. I know we're not going to be friends anymore, it's fine. But it's personal preference.
So you say yes?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Y'all saw the judgment in Chris's eyes.
I think
okay.
I think beans and chili is should be criminal. Candy corn, yes or no? I think I know your answer. Okay, okay, we're on the same team there.
Yeah,
okay, this is good.
On candy corn.
Okay. I mentioned this. This is a football term, and it's I said this in the booth the other day, and Tommy Wood had no idea what I was talking about.
Oh man!
I want to know if you approve of this term, and it's not something you as a coach would ever say, but I know you've heard this. Hey man, he threw for 320 and a tutty.
Yeah,
a tutty. Have you ever heard this term?
Oh yeah.
Approve of it? Yes or no?
Probably not. Say it. I would not say it. No.
You're a purist, and I appreciate that.
I've got one more.
I said it in the post game show one time, and Tommy was like, "Excuse me, like what is that?" It's like touchdown. You never heard that? And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." But anyway.
I've got another one that everybody says a lot that I don't know why it annoys me, but pay dirt. I don't know why. Like
reaches pay dirt.
Yeah.
Well, one, it's turf.
Exactly.
Or derf, dirt that's actually looks like that turf that looks like dirt.
Yeah.
But pay dirt. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but tutty, I just thought that was funny. I wanted to make sure I wrote that down because Tommy was
Tommy.
Almost
Come on, Tommy.
He was almost offended.
But I bet Tommy said pay dirt before.
Maybe so. Maybe so. So we're even, Coach Wood. Okay, now some Halloween stuff. Costume parties.
What?
Yes or no?
Let's get through these Halloween ones quick. No costume parties.
Yeah. So if Stacy says, "Hey, we got invited to this deal. We have to dress up and all that," you're just like, "I'm out. I got something to do."
I mean, if my wife tells me I'm going, I'll go. Along. But I am.
That's not your comfort zone.
Not about it. I'll dress up as a coach.
Okay, I love it. Favorite Halloween candy?
Reese's. Does Reese's count?
Sure.
Reese's for sure. I don't know that there's another one's close. Really,
Reese's is undefeated. Yeah, I mean that's if somebody shows up, because we're approaching, we're in Halloween range here. It's going to be early next week. If somebody knocks on the door and trick or treats at the Darden household on Halloween night, they get what in their
Again, this is my wife. If it's my choice, I'm turning the lights off and we're not answering doors.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not about it, but that's okay. But my wife does a good job. She gets the whole it's pretty good at our house.
Okay.
They get good stuff. I a lot of times will take the Reese's or whatever out, but they
man,
they get pretty
kids
good
are getting
stuff.
cheated in your neighborhood, man, because Coach Darden's got all the goods kept for himself.
What's the Scrooge of Halloween? Is there a word? Is there a
No, I don't know if there's like an
that's
anti-Halloween, but yeah, and Halloween's just like another excuse for people to kind of act crazy too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, it shows your age. See, you're getting
old,
older.
I know.
Yeah, that's right. Get off my lawn type of mentality.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, corn maze or haunted house?
corn maze?
Ever done the haunted house?
Yeah, a while back. I'm not a haunted.
Not
This
about
may
that
be
life?
this may be a question coming up, but scary movies. I am not a scary movie guy.
Yeah,
Like,
those
I don't want to get scared. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. So, yeah, I'd go corn maze for sure. If I had the choice, though, neither. Just I'd stay at home.
Yeah, sit at home and watch football. Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees.
Yeah,
This is a
see, I
scary
don't
movies
even-
thing, but you would know who these people are.
Yeah, kind of. Like
Friday the
one's
13th or
yeah.
the Halloween
Yeah, see.
movies. You know, you don't know which
See.
is scarier. Okay,
I'd go
all the above. We'll go
see.
with that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's the Jason Voorhees is like the emotionless hockey mask guy.
Yeah.
And it just kind of there's something about it. And I guess somebody's gonna make a poor decision. Shocker.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
something's
All
gonna
the
go
same.
poorly. Shocker.
Yeah.
And
The girl's going to be wearing high heels, and she won't take them off.
Oh yeah,
she
that,
runs,
that's
yeah.
that's right. That's right. And it's a script as old as time, and yet they keep making them, and people keep watching them.
Not
Well,
me, though. I don't watch them.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so all the shenanigans. Well, it should be fun. Make sure again you show up early. Senior Day activities start at 6:20 on Friday night, and district championship on the line. And again, there's more football to be played, no matter the result for both of these teams. And there will be another home game after this one, so we'll make sure to get all that squared away. But hope you enjoy it, man, on Friday night, because that's what this stuff is about. You set yourself up for quite an opportunity, and I hope you and everybody else kind of gets to embrace the situation and enjoy it, because that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I didn't mention earlier, but like there's pressure in a game like this, but it's fun pressure. It's not.
Yeah, because
it's not the season's over.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
all that. So it'll be really fun. I think our guys will play loose and are going to play a good game.
Okay, that's good, man. All right, well, congratulations on
Appreciate
a
ya.
great season at this point. Good luck Friday night, and we'll talk to everybody again next week.